Well, good afternoon everyone. It's about 25 to 4 here on Wednesday the 11th of August, and I'm looking at VectorVest UK. Clearly that's the closing prices from Tuesday the 10th, and the trends on the London stock market look good. As you can see, lots of green, and yesterday we had a green light in the price column with a colour guard, and a little black star in the green light winking at us, which is saying that the price is up day over day and week over week, and the momentum is also rising, a very good sign. The short-term trend or the primary wave is up, the underlying trend is up, and we have a confirmed up in place, and also a nice green light in the buy-sell ratio, which is also healthy, showing that the breadth of a market is rising day over day and week over week. In the essay this week, I've written about the Midas Touch, and the Midas Touch, designed by Dr. Bartolito to trade the gold market, but it works well in all markets, and recently, especially in the American market, I've been using it to find shares that are trending strongly, and that's where I found that share ANAT some weeks ago. I'd never heard of the darn thing before. It had very good VectorVest fundamentals, and that was one of the best trades for me of the last quarter. I know quite a few VectorVest members managed to get that trade as well, one with a very, very big position, I may add. So I want to go to viewers to just show the construction again of the Midas Touch Watchlist. So I click on Stock Viewer, and if I click on Future, which is a share that I don't own, but I've talked about it, and one of the reasons that I don't own it is that when I was the right time to buy it, I didn't have any money. I was invested. I'm fully invested in the UK market, and most of them are going very well, apart from those two gold stocks that are lagging, to say the least. Here we've got and I'll put on my normal layout to start with. I have lots of these layouts stored. That's my normal layout, as you know. The 21, the 55 and the 89, and earnings per share rising. And I can't say it often enough, folks, but this earnings per share rising from the bottom left to the top right of its little window here, if that's happening nice and smoothly, then the trading tends to go well. I haven't got 1,000 observations of that. It's purely anecdotal, but that's been my experience over the last 10 years in using VectorVest. As you'll know, the earnings per share boys use earnings per share growth as a leading indicator of the share price moves over the last 3 to 5 years, and that's future, and that's what it's done recently. It looks really, really good to me. So if I put on the Midas Touch Watchlist, and by the way, that gap out of a consolidation is always a really, really good sign. That's what I call the rocket launcher. So if entry there, rocket launcher entry is there, and stop loss underneath that low. That would be a really good signal. It's taken a day or two, but we'll see what happens. I'll be speaking about the rocket launcher at our national user group on Wednesday the 18th. It's one of my favorite setups, and I'm actually doing a slot myself at the Streetwise Investors Club on my 3 favorite setups, and the rocket launcher is one of those. So if I in fact look now at the Midas Touch Watchlist, it's a pre-written watchlist on VectorVest, and clearly you can write as many, you can put together as many of these graph layouts as you want and save them. The 21, 55 and 89 is one that I've saved myself. So that's over 3 months. If we look at over a year now, this simplifies the chart. The price action is gone, although we can add it again if we wish. The green line is a 10-day moving average of the VectorVest stop loss, which itself is a 65-day moving average. So it's a moving average of a moving average, which gives us a double smoothing. The pink line is a 65-day moving average of the VectorVest stop loss. Again, that double smoothing. And down below here, we have a 40-day average of the VectorVest RT. Now, those of you that do come to our national user group will have heard Steve from Oxford, who's essentially made his life's work the analysis of the RT40, the 40-day average of the RT. It's an incredibly strong measure of momentum. And basically, folks, if the 10 of the stops above the 65 of the stop and the RT40 is above 1, that's a strongly trending situation. And as I've said in the essay, if the 10 is making a new 3-month high, if the 10 is above the 65, it's making a new 3-month high. The 65 is making a new 3-month high, and the RT40 is making a new 3-month high. Then it goes into the Midas Touch Watchlist. One thing that you have to watch out for is that if I go to a 3-month chart, future has actually come out of the Midas Touch Watchlist because the RT40 is no longer, by a little bit, making a 3-month high, okay, because it's come back a little bit. So one thing that you have to do with the Midas Touch is that when you've got a share in there, when you've got a share and you're watching that share, I keep it in my list as long as these two moving averages haven't crossed. Because sometimes the best entries are when it pulls back a little bit, okay, and that's something you have to watch for, and you have to keep that list diligently. So let me show you where you can find the Midas Touch watch list. So if we go to viewers and watch list viewer, under cherry picking we've got the Midas Touch stocks, and all of these stocks they're rated and sorted by VST, but all of these stocks, the 10 is above the 65 of the stop, the RT40 is above 1, and all 3 measurements are making 3-month highs. Now, there's an awful lot of investment trusts in here, and I know many of you love investment trusts, but I'm an old-fashioned share trader. So many people ask me, how do you get rid of the investment trusts? So if you go to Unisearch, just write a little search, time of search, parameter, stocks, filter by, watch list, equals, under cherry picking there's the Midas Touch stocks, and then time of search, stocks, filter by, industry group, not financial trusts. Now there is, I know you're going to email me that there's a few that are in that shouldn't be in, okay, and I'm busy trying to weed those out. I only noticed that today myself. I'm not a big investment trust apart from BlackRock, World Minerals, and that is the Midas Touch stocks minus the investment trusts. So let's have a look at a few of these, and this is essentially what I look at in the American market. I noticed Mark Crittenden, when he was doing his analysis of the spring a few weeks ago, again at our national user group, used the American market because there's just so much more opportunity, and that's certainly the case. But if we look here, I'm going to go down to Focusrite, and if I chart these, and there we are, and I'm going to get rid of the stochastic for the moment. I'm going to get rid of volume for the moment, and I'm going to get rid of the price for the moment. Alright, so we've just got these 2 lines and the RT40. First of all, those of you that are holding Lion Trust, folks, what's happening here is that this is making new highs. As we all know, it's been great, but the RT40 is also making a new high, and that's saying there's more left. And although the share is fully valued at the moment, the RV is still through the roof, and that's saying over the next few years there's still an awful lot more to come here. So I'm certainly holding mine. Now if we put the price on and we look at the stochastic, in fact, on a scale between 0 and 100 is overbought when it's above 80 and oversold when it's below 20. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know the stochastic well. I was taught it by the guy who in fact invented it, George Lane, such a long time ago. And it's great with the trend. So if you've got a share that's in the throes of a strong trend, such as a share that's in the Midas Touch Watchlist, where the 10's above the 65 and the RT40 is above 1, you certainly don't want to take sell signals from the stochastic, but buy signals are very good indeed. And if you had not been in Lion Trust, and as you know, we were in it for a very long time, but that would have been an exceptionally good level just there when the stochastic took its nose. Maybe you waited for a bit of confirmation as it broke through that high, and that would have been a great entry. I think that you could use the MACD, although it's a little slower, or you could use the RSI, but I always, both in intraday trading and in end of day trading, use the stochastic, and I'm just using the standard 14-day stochastic on VectorVest. So if you've got a share that's in the Midas Touch Watchlist and you see the stochastic going down below 20, that produces a really good entry. One thing that you have to watch out is sometimes when the stochastic goes down through 20, the Midas Touch Watchlist in fact has dropped the share because it started to pull back a little bit here. So when it goes into your watch list, just keep a tally of all of those that were the 10's above the 65 in your notepad. Just remember, we're taking money off people here, guys. There has to be a little bit of work done. So I'm very happy with that, and certainly if I saw a break above that again, I'm still holding this. If you go back to my other template, if I can find it, the 2155, as you can see, it's still trending a mile above the 21-day moving average, and you know, that's a really good place to be strong. Okay, a really good place to be strong. So that's the first one that's come out of the list. Go back to a 6-month chart and find the stochastic. It's not on this. Add parameter, technical analysis, stochastic, and that was the level just there. Very pleased with that. As you can see, earnings per share is rising, and those of you that have been coming to the Monday afternoon presentations know that we've been holding this since last April, and it's been absolutely great. So this is Watches of Switzerland, and again, this is in the Midas Touch watch list, has been forever, and there's the stochastic down at 20, turning up. Maybe you want to buy a breakout, maybe you waited for a day or two onto that outside day and it's still going. Similarly here, again, in a share that's in the Midas Touch Watchlist, or any share that's trending strongly, folks, you don't want to take stochastic sell signals. That just doesn't work. If the trend was down, then selling when the stochastic's above 80 is great, but against the trend it's pretty useless, and I don't believe in reversion to the mean trading. If you come on Wednesday night, I'm going to talk about my beliefs about trading, and I've never seen anybody make money consistently that keep trading reversion to the mean trading. So that looks quite good, and as a swing trader, I don't want to be involved at the minute. I would want to wait for this to pull back, and my stomach tells me that it'll pull back somewhere to the 9 level. Okay, clearly a lot of people buying watches at the moment. This is Hargreaves. This was in the Midas Touch watch list for a long time. Unfortunately here it actually went out of the Midas Touch watch list, and that's why when you see a share in the Midas Touch watch list and it's trending strongly, the 10's above the 65 and the 21 and the 55 and the 89 of the price are strong, big bow tie in place. Just keep your eye on it, but it came back to a very obvious place, folks, and that's where it came back to. Now again, if you come on Wednesday night, I'll be talking about the spring, but that's a classic spring formation where the market goes up, comes back, kisses that top, goes up again and comes back down. It'd be interesting to know if Mark's Unisearch found that. I'm sure it would have. That's what was really pushing the share price, and as you can see, that materialized 2 or 3 days after the price started to move. What's new? Somebody had a sniff of it in advance. That'll hardly be the first time, it won't be the last time. But the stochastic applied to strongly trending shares, in this case with good fundamentals, that brought home the bacon once more. This is Marshall's. Not that liquid, and when I speak about it I get grief about spreads, but nevertheless that was a particularly good entry signal here, and those of you that are familiar with my work will see the reverse divergence here, where that's rising and that's falling. That's just a great signal. That's not bad, but it didn't get quite down into the overbought area. Now this is the one that I like the look of at the moment. This is Focusrite. It's in software business, and although the stochastic is right up here, I think that would have been a great entry level just here, just down there, with the stochastics down here. But this pattern is known by chartists as a cup and handle pattern. It's been around forever, made famous by a gentleman called William O'Neill, and the share is now going sideways. It's above the 20-day moving average. I need to add volume here. Let me add volume. Add volume. I don't like the charts too messy, so I keep them. I'm going to take off the stochastic for the moment. It's not saying a lot, but and I'm going to take off earnings per share, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And as you can see, volume coming into it here, and then we had volume here, and it had tried, and it's trying again here. So we've got the bars, certainly the area between the high and the open and the close contracting, and I think that that's what would be known as a volatility contraction pattern. Volume drying up on the down days and trying to push up on the up days. That looks to me as if it wants to go, and I haven't got a position. If I can free up some cash, I'm certainly going to have a position. Now if we have a look at Focusrite, ladies and gentlemen, you can see where am I now? You can see that it's trading at 14. VectorVest believes it's worth 10. All right, so it's overvalued for the moment. But if we look at the future here, we see that the RV is 1.54. So although it's overvalued at the moment, over the next 3 years, there's a heck of a lot in this. RS is 1.45, and that's saying that the books are in great nick, to use an expression from my youth. And the RT at 1.24 is good. The VST is good. Now if we go across here, we can see there's the stop. We can see it's going to grow earnings at 32% next year, ladies and gentlemen. That's quite. And if we go across a little bit further, so I don't get lost here, we can see that there's sales at £175 million, and the sales growth is a whopping 91%. So this is a company that's growing very strongly indeed. It's got a market cap of 835, so it's not a tiddler. I like the look of that, and that's what came out of my examination of the Midas Touch Watchlist. We shall see. The other little company that came out of it some weeks back was Cape Technology, and I have a position based on Cape Tech, and a position that I'm going to try and get into if I can free up some cash in Focusrite and in future. So I hope you found that useful. We'll talk about it next Monday afternoon at our Q&A. We'll talk about it in a great deal of detail at the National User Group. I've got half an hour next Wednesday night. So at our National User Group, we have our portfolios to start with. That Susan will be chairing it, and then we've got Mark with a question and answer session on Unisearch, and then I'm going to present my three favorite setups, and one of which will be the spring, and I'll leave you guessing on the other. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to find a share that's trending strongly, that's rising. The fundamentals should be as good as you require. Some people are conservative and they'll want a share that's undervalued with a high RV and a high RS. Some people slightly less conservative like me, where I'm happy to get into a share that's trading above the VectorVest valuation as long as the future looks rosy. In other words, the RV is above 1.25. And then of course there are swing traders that don't much care about the fundamentals at all. They're quite happy to get into a share that's trending strongly at a good price and look for a 3 to 5 day trade. So I hope you found that useful, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Bye bye.
Yeah.